Welcome to the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast. I am your host, Christy Castillo, and I'm here to give you real talk and cut the BS so you can actually enjoy building a body you love. I'm a personal trainer obsessed with giving you simple action steps to take you from feeling stuck to feeling sexy. Let's go. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's episode. I'm going to be talking to you today about how and why really to let go of the comparison and the timelines that you have set for yourself on your fitness journey. I'm going to pretend like you are just sitting across from me and we're having this conversation real. Like this is exactly the things that I want to say to you as if you were like my client or just my friend coming to me and you're really struggling with the fact that you think your fitness journey should be going faster, or you are comparing yourself to other people or whatever the case may be, right? I see this so often where my clients or just people are like, man, I really thought this wouldn't take as long, or I don't know if I'm doing a good job because I am not as far along as maybe someone told me I would be, or, you know, I thought I was going to be. And so this is just so common. And I'm sure it's been a long time for me, I'll be honest, since I've really looked at my journey in that light. I know that I've been there. I know that I know there were times that I was like, wow, I really wish that I was making a lot faster progress. I didn't think it would take this long. And more for me in terms of muscle growth, I didn't really understand my journey in the beginning, what I was doing. I've talked about this actually, I think last week, where I talked about how I had the workout program laid out in front of me. I hit almost every single workout. I didn't know it was my macros, but I filled my containers and I ate exactly what I was supposed to eat. And I just did that kind of blindly. So I think for me, I started off, not to say that that was a good thing, because I was definitely going all in and I couldn't keep that up past the 90-day program, but I went all in on that. And then, you know, as far as like my muscle building journey, it's been hard for me to I'm like, sometimes I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, man, I really thought I would look different or stronger, or I feel like I'm putting in so much work and I'm not looking a whole lot different. But at the end of the day, at this point in my journey, I can look at myself or really take a look in the metaphorical mirror, I guess, and be like, okay, but are you actually eating enough? Are you actually doing the workouts that you should be doing, Christy, to get to, you know, that's making you think you should have this much muscle? Are you really putting in that work? And the answer is no. And I'm really good at separating myself from the outcome. And that's kind of what I want to talk about in this episode, is separating yourself from the end goal, from the outcome. So a lot of times you know, I'm sure, and let's get really, really real with ourselves, right? A lot of times you will, and I'm talking to you as your coach, as someone who can see you from an outsider's view. And this is a lot of my clients and a lot of ladies, especially when they first come on board with me, they're like, I've tried this program and I couldn't adhere to it, or I hired this coach and what they're telling me to do is it's just not fitting in my lifestyle. I'm not able to do it. Or I did this program and I, stuck to it 100% and it promised me that I would lose 15 to 20 pounds and I didn't. And so they're thinking that they failed because the outcome, isn't there. And so be real and think about in your journey right now, if this is you and you're like, man, yeah, maybe Christy, I've been with you for so long, or I'm currently doing a different program, or I'm currently working with another trainer. And I really did think that this was going to go faster. I really thought I would be, from my starting place to my end goal, whatever that is, a lot faster, or at least making a lot more progress faster along the way. And when you look out at that end goal, and let me just also say quickly that your end goal will change, right? So if you start to see progress, you're like, oh, maybe I'm capable of getting that scale down even lower than the number on the scale down lower than I thought. So you keep putting that goal further and further and further from yourself. And in turn, you see that you have so far to go. Whenever you look at that goal, you're like, man, I am still so far away. And this can make you get down on yourself. This can make you overthink. This can make you question the process and question whether or not you actually can achieve what you want. Like, can I actually lose that 20 pounds? Can I? Because I'm not feeling right now like I can. I'm tired. I wake up every day and I've only lost a half pound and a half pound. And then I gained 2 pounds and then I lost another half pound. And it's like, I don't think I'm ever going to make it to that end goal, right? So you are not detaching from that goal. You're just seeing, you're putting in maybe all the work and you're almost discrediting all of that when you don't focus on your progress and what you have done, right? And you're just looking at, this is where I am now and this is where I have to go, and it's so far away. I can relate to this a lot in my business, and I've said that before on the podcast, where I struggle more so with my business in the same way that a lot of you struggle with fitness, as far as I see this end goal. And it used to be, when I first started out running my own business, being my own boss, I had no idea what I was doing. So I saw all these people online, being personal trainers, and they were doing all the things and they had all the clients and they have all of the trainers under them. And I'm like, wow, this is a great goal. Since then, my goals have changed. But, I see that and I put in whatever work I feel like I'm supposed to put in, and I didn't get anywhere toward that goal. It's just like I'm spinning my wheels. I didn't have a habits in place. I didn't have a system in place. And without a system and some habits, you don't even know if you're making any progress. And that could be some of your problem too, which I will get right back to. But to relate this to my business and where I've been in that situation, I didn't know what I was doing. I kept looking at the end goal, like, how am I ever going to get over here to owning my own business and to having clients and, all the other things that I want to do? I have so far to go. And I was discrediting the little baby steps that I was making along the way. And so I hired my own coach and I was able to, walk myself through that. And now I just focus on the habits and the systems and the consistency. And that, to relate that to your fitness journey, how you would disassociate, how you detach from yourself to the end goal is you associate yourself to your habits and you associate your focus to the systems and the habits that you have to do every single day to get to that goal. So I want you to start looking at the small wins and look at the good things that you're doing every single day. A lot of times when clients start a program with me, they have this really big end goal, and it takes me a while to, get them on board and get them consistent with the little things that they should be doing. Once they get consistent with those things, I go in and explain, okay, this is why we're doing those things. And then I will have them step back and say, look at all the things you've been doing for the last 4 weeks. You've been tracking your food, and we learned a lot about you from tracking your food. No judgment, just whether you've been eating too little or too much. And we made food changes and you're having balanced meals and you're feeling so good and you're sleeping good and you're getting in 3 to 5 workouts every single week and you're hitting between 5 and 10K steps a day. And just all of these little wins, it's amazing, because a lot of times clients will come to me and say, or I'll check in and like, how's your week going? And they're like, I haven't lost any weight this week. I don't know. I'm not having the best week, but I'm doing okay. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Aside from the weight, but are you still working on your habits? Are you still working on your systems? Are you still proud of yourself? Do you feel like you have more energy? Are your hormones better? Is your metabolism better? How are you doing with those things? Because continuing with those things are what's going to get you to that end goal. When you just wake up every day and you're like, well, haven't lost my 20 to 50 pounds yet. What's the point of doing my habits today? And then you quit. Instead of that, you just wake up every day like, okay, hitting my 5 to 10K steps and getting my work in if it's a workout day, hitting my macros, drinking my water. That's it. Like, it just becomes so seamless. And you don't have to really think about the end goal so often because you're so focused on making another day a win, making the next day a win. And if you have a day where you screw up, it's fine. You're like, okay, cool. Tomorrow I'll be back at it. I'll win because it's not so hard anymore. But a lot of times when we are just thinking about ourselves and comparing to the timeline that we've set for ourselves, or maybe comparison to other people, it's concerning the end goal, right? So you're comparing yourself to your friend who's losing more weight than you, and maybe she's going to get to that end goal faster. Okay. Or maybe you set an unreal timeline for yourself. maybe your friend is in a different place than you are physically, and maybe she's already gotten to maintenance and she reverse dieted, and maybe she has a healthy relationship with food already. So yeah, maybe she's making a little bit faster traction than you. Or maybe you're setting just that unreal timeline and you're comparing yourself constantly with someone else, someone on social media, what you thought your body would look like, what you thought you should be able to do, the progress that you should have been able to make in X amount of time. If that was an unreal timeline, then of course you're not going to be able to get to that goal because you have set yourself up for failure. So again, let's be real and really, really think for a minute about, do you compare yourself to unrealistic expectations? Do you set unreal standards for yourself? Are you comparing yourself to someone who's been in the health and fitness space for years? Are you comparing yourself to a timeline that maybe, 20 years ago when you were in college and you're like, well, back then when I went to the gym and I hit my macros, I made so much progress really quickly. Well, now you're 20 years older, the same things just aren't going to work. So maybe you're comparing yourself to your old self, and that's not fair. What you need to do is not really compare yourself to anything except the person you want to be. Are you working toward the person you want to be? Are you working toward having your goal body? And if you don't know what those things are, if you're like, I don't know if I'm working toward that, I'm not really following a plan, I don't really know what I'm doing, I'm winging it, right? Then we need to get a plan in place for you for sure. Otherwise, you're always going to be thinking, I thought I would lose more weight by now. I thought I would see more muscle by now. This is really nice for me to be able to sit down with my clients and say that, 1 pound a week on average weight loss for this certain client is normal. And I will say, yes, you can expect to continue to see 1 pound a week weight loss for X amount of weeks. And then I expect you will start to plateau and we'll have to change up your macros and your workouts. Or I'll have a client say, I'm not really, seeing much movement at all. Is this normal? And I will say, yes. And this is why. And this is how we're going to get out of it. We're going to have to reverse diet for a while. We're going to have to put some muscle on you. We're going to have to, maybe start a few supplements to help your metabolism, your hormones. And then do that for maybe, 3 to 6 months. Get your body really happy. Get your body to trust you. And then we can reverse diet back down. Or then we can calorie deficit back down. But that's nice because if I have a plan in place for my ladies and I can say these are the steps you need to do to get to your goal, this is what the timeline is going to look like, then they don't just have this unreal timeline that they're trying to follow and their body's literally not going to do what they want it to do in that timeline. I can give them a realistic timeline. But when you are so obsessed with the goal and you just want it all to happen so fast, you have to detach yourself from that goal. If not, you will quit. And what's the point of quitting? Because then you're doing nothing to get yourself to your goal, right? So if you quit, which you will do if you're constantly overthinking and constantly comparing and just thinking, why am I not there yet? I'm doing the most. I'm literally doing the most. I'm doing all the things and it's not making any progress. Obviously, those aren't the right things if you're not making any progress. But if you don't know that, then you're just going to quit. And quitting obviously isn't going to get you anywhere. So for whatever reason, you have these timelines of when you think you will achieve something and you have to get rid of that. It's a total mind fuck to set yourself up for this timeline that you think, in this 12-week program, I'm going to lose, I was going to say 10 pounds, but that's actually achievable. I will lose 20 pounds and, I'll have the body of my dreams and I will have a good relationship with food, whatever your goal is. To think that that's going to happen in 12 weeks is just probably not going to happen. So set realistic timelines for yourself. Or honestly, don't even put a timeline in place. I should have opened with that. That would be the best thing. That's what I do. I set kind of a goal for myself of, okay, I'm going to start putting on weight. I no longer have a goal weight. I no longer actually have a goal body. I don't do anything with like an end goal. Sounds crazy. All my goal is just right now to put on some muscle at a pretty slow pace. So I'm going to increase my carbs. I'm going to start lifting heavier more often. That's it. That's my goal. Whatever I look like at the end of whenever I stop doing that is good enough for me. And was it always like that for me? Absolutely not. And I don't not set a goal because I won't achieve it, but my goals will change and my life changes and the seasons change. And so honestly, if you can make your goal, or if you can try to get to a place where, okay, I'm going to sign up for this program. I want to fix my relationship with food. Yes, down the line, I want to have this kind of a body. I want to feel like this. But in the meantime, what I want to do is learn about macros. I want to start tracking my food so I'm feeding my body correctly. And I want to put on a little bit of muscle. That means lifting heavier, following a program, hitting 3 to 5 workouts a week. That's it. And make that your goal. I think that's the best. That's the best way. Now that I'm saying this, I'm like, I should have had a whole podcast just about this. But seriously, this is how I function. And I think it's the best. I don't know if I mentioned this on here, but not that long ago, I had a client, a friend of mine. She was saying, she's like, you don't really ever set long-term goals for me. They're always very short-term goals. And I was kind of surprised when she said it. I was not surprised to hear it. I was surprised that she noticed, honestly. And I kind of took a step back and I'm like, oh my God, maybe that's a bad thing. Whatever, that's my negative or my self-sabotage. I don't know. But my first thought was, oh God, you're right. I don't set long-term goals very often. I have goals that I want to work toward. I have, a vision. I have all the things. But in reality, I have to be very, very focused on my very next step, like my very next hour. And I have it kind of mapped out, of course. I'm not saying you have to go just wing it, but you have to just be focused on what you're doing next. Like I said, literally, for my business, I have certain things that I'm doing from now until the end of the year, basically in survival mode with the holidays and stuff. And that's kind of how, you should be too with your body. Just be in survival mode. And that's how I am. Like I just told you, my only goal is to eat more carbs every day, AKA I will just add in a bowl of oatmeal and lift heavier on occasion. That's it. And I will do that for the rest of fall and through winter. And then I will change my immediate goals of what I'm going to do every single day as far as carbs, as far as calories, and as far as workouts. And that's it. Like I know I will get to my goal, but I really have to be focused on being 1% better every single day, doing the shit that I don't want to do, showing up when I don't want to. Like those are the little things, right, that really, really matter. And it's so nice to not have to stress and think about all that stuff. Can you imagine? Like, wouldn't it be so nice to just get up and not have to stress and think about food and workouts all the time? This is literally how you do that. This is one of the differences between a diet where you're cutting carbs and cutting fats and, cutting calories, restricting foods, whatever. Like I'm on a diet for X amount of weeks or this detox or, those certain things. That's the difference between what you've tried in the past and this lifestyle that I'm talking about so often. It's not one certain thing that you're doing or that you're not able to have. It's a whole combination of things, but really it's about these little tiny habits that you're just doing so seamlessly every single day. Do you see how when I just explained what my goals are right now, like how it's so easy for me to live what I was already doing and living in my life and my workouts for my fitness journey. And I'm actually only adding in a bowl of oatmeal and lifting heavier in my workouts. That's the only thing that I changed to get to my goals. What if the only thing that you had to change coming into a program is changing up the way that you work out? And probably it'll be easier as far as you're not going to have to be doing a lot of cardio, right? So you are just hitting your macros, and whatever that is, you focus on just hitting your macros and putting in the time to do the workouts of a program that works. And that's it. Imagine every single day you wake up and that's it. You know what you're going to eat to hit your macros. You know you have to get your workout in, maybe go for a walk, maybe hit some water. Like that's it. That's it. You don't have to worry about all the other things. You don't have to wake up every single day with this looming 20-pound, 50-pound goal over your head, because that's going to happen, but it's not going to happen unless you do these little habits and these little systems that you have in place that make it a habit that you just do every single day. And so it's so important that you detach yourself and you detach your mind and you detach like all of that, honestly, from that end goal. You have to just rip that away and be like, yeah, that's an amazing goal and I'm going to fucking get there. But the way that I'm going to do that is to let go of that for now and trust this process. And I'm going to be in the moment every day, hit my macros, get in my workout, and that's it. And like check the box, give yourself a high five. I did it, crush the day, move on, crush the next day and the next day. And if you don't crush the days, just at least show up every single day. So I hope this was helpful. I know that I always have clients coming to me and they're like, how do I not stress about this goal? I really thought that I would be there faster. I really thought that this would be easier. And I'm so sorry that someone made you feel like it should go faster or that it should be easier. That's not on you. That's on shame on the person who's selling whatever product, making you feel like there's a certain timeline that your body will adjust, because it's just not going to happen. But the good thing is that you can control what you do every single day, and that's it. That's all you have to do is control what you do every single day. Like I said, that is the difference between this lifestyle and all those other diets that you've tried and that have put you right back to where you started. So again, I hope you enjoyed this episode on comparison and letting go of comparison and letting go of those timelines that you set for yourself, and just hopefully you can enjoy to and learn to enjoy the journey. As always, I love getting messages from you and Instagram and the DMs. I really, really, truly do enjoy hearing all of you saying that you're finding the podcast and you're listening to it and it's changing your life. And that makes me so happy. So continue to reach out to me with those messages, and I will talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to today's show. Go ahead and leave a rating and a review. And of course, follow the podcast so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And I would love it so much if you came to connect with me over on Instagram at Christy Castillo Fit. I will see you next time.